is the Axopar 28 OC, and it's got some seriously healthy DNA in its family line, because behind this boat is the same guy that created Paragon and the XO boats, and actually if you look closely you can sort of see that inspiration in the Axopar. But it's probably the coolest product we've seen from Yannick Vitala yet. As you can see, this boat here has got a 250 horsepower Mercury outboard, should be good for well over 40 knots. There's a decent breeze blowing out in the Solent. Let's get out on the water and see what it can do. In Finland, where this boat hails from, boats like this are used as transport. They're used to get to work and they're used to get out to the islands. And that translates into the ergonomics of this helm, because you can feel like it's a boat to be used. It's so comfortable. Everything drops down very naturally. The wheel, the throttle, you've got an armrest here. You can sit back in your chair. The view is absolutely superb. And then there's the little touches, the practical stuff, like that there's a designated spot to put your iPad in if you're using iPad navigation. There are cup holders all over the place, handholds, little divots for you to put phones and VHFs in. And you can also stand, because there's a well beneath me here. You can stand, bolster the seat, and still have a fantastic view out of the windscreen for when it gets a bit rougher. So you can have the Axopar 28 in a variety of layouts. You can have it in this shape but fully open, so that there's no restrictions in the cockpit, which I suppose is really angled towards people who are fishing and water sports. You can have both styles with wheelhouses as well. This version, the OC, has got the open helm arrangement, and the other thing to take on board is the amount of detail on here. It's typical sort of Scandinavian attention to detail. It's very safe, full walk around decks, handholds everywhere, the quality of the lovely upholstery. It really feels like a proper high-end product. There's actually quite a lot more to the 28 than meets the eye, like for example the fact that you have a proper toilet down there with sitting headroom, obviously, and a sink. And if you're upgrading from a rib, which I think quite a few people would be, that's the sort of thing that you're really going to be interested in. As well as the fact that you've got this great seating area in the bow. It's only got one-sided seating because this bow is just so narrow. There's not enough room for seats, so you have a sort of perch here, which is a good enough way to get around having your picnic. And then further aft, there's even more surprises in store. Okay, so you're probably not going to spend a week on board this boat in this cabin, but if you go out for an overnighter, especially if you've been to the pub, this would be perfectly fine for a couple. And you even have windows down here, so there's a bit of natural light in the morning. Obviously you've got artificial lights as well, and if nothing else, it's just a really handy big dry storage area to chuck all your clobber into. One extra nice thing about this cabin is that, unlike lots of cabins of this ilk, you can enter from either end of the unit, which is quite handy, and it also means it feels a bit less claustrophobic if you leave one or the other open, so you've got a bit more air in there. So we've come to the end of a great day on board the Axopar 28 OC, and in the UK you may want to go for the one with the wheelhouse, so you don't have to dress up like this every time you go out, especially in the winter. But what it has shown is that this fantastically sharp hull makes mincemeat of the typical Solent chop, and for buzzing around a place like this where you're doing short distances, you want to go quickly, then it's great. Plenty of power, nice soft riding hull, and you have a place to go for a picnic when you stop, and there's somewhere to sleep if you want to for an evening. And for this particular boat with a 250 horsepower Mercury 4-stroke chart plotter and a bow thruster, you can pick it up for around £75,000 on the water and ready to go.